When it comes to outsourcing, offshoring, and staffing, two countries have always been head-to-head, the Philippines and India. In this video, we're going to attempt to settle the debate on whether it is the Philippines or India that offers the most bang for your buck when it comes to outsourced staff. We're going to have the following criteria: work ethic, education, English communication, professional versatility, IT infrastructure, government support, and culture. We're going to base our commentary on documented experiences of both clients and staff, as well as a few facts and figures from reputable online sources. So with that being said, let's get started. Work ethic. Much has already been said about the Philippines' work ethic. The internet is filled with memes of Filipino BPO employees braving typhoons and floods just to get to the office and report for work. And while there are a few rotten apples here and there, in general, clients can rely on a solid work ethic from the Philippines. Interesting enough, India seems to have the exact opposite rep. A quick browse through Quora and Reddit reveals that a lot of clients lament the poor work ethic of their Indian employees. What's even more surprising is that on Quora, many of the people who say this are actual Indians.
They hate them more than they used to hate the Indians.
Now, of course, there are also stories of Indians who go above and beyond the call of duty. But this seems to form more of the exception rather than the rule. According to a report published by Clary and Associates, a leading executive search firm specializing in the Asian professional market, Filipinos are more trustworthy. This is a bold statement, but one that experienced managers feel is accurate. So enough said. We'll give this category to the Philippines. Education. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, the Philippines has a 98.2% literacy rate compared to India's 74.4%. Now, this may be because people spend more time in school in the Philippines compared to India. In the Philippines, a student spends more or less 18 years in school, from preschool to the completion of a bachelor's degree. In India, the same process takes more or less 15 years. Indian schools put deep emphasis on technical disciplines such as computer science and IT. In the Philippines, some schools have incorporated special BPO-related short courses in their syllabi. Certificate courses on customer service, phone sales, technical support, and even call center management are being offered by some Philippines private schools. Some schools even have partnerships with actual contact centers that provide real-world training materials. In exchange, students who successfully complete the training programs are referred to the call center for job placement. So as far as education is concerned, it's safe to say that the Philippines has the upper hand. English communication. Now, this is a rather controversial category, mainly because of racial stereotyping. But let's face it, the real deciding factor here is accent, or the lack thereof. To be fair, English-speaking Indians speak good English, especially British English, since India was once a British colony. It's just that most of the time, even good English speakers in India have heavy accents.
It's a school, no one speaks Hindi at all. It's everything related to English itself. So I think that 70 to 80% might know English.
And that makes them rather difficult to understand in the context of customer service and telesales.
I call up, I'm like, yeah, I'm having a problem with my laptop. Okay, sir, and your good name? I'm like, I'm sorry, your good name. My good name? What is that, my password? You want my password?
On the other hand, it's also true that there are Filipinos who speak English with heavy accents. Comedians such as Joe Coy, Happy Slip, and Mikey Bustos have become popular by poking fun at this. But Filipinos who have made a career out of the BPO industry have taken special care to remove or at least minimize their accents when talking in English. That detail that makes the difference. What's more, being the third largest English-speaking country behind only the US and the UK, Filipinos are just better at carrying out English conversations. They're even familiar with American slang, idioms, and figures of speech. And for this category, we're going to have to hand it to the Philippines. Now, before we go to the next category, let me just say thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, let us know what you think in the comment section below. And while you're at it, please hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right, let's continue. Professional versatility. Now, this is a category that India undeniably wins. Just look at the CEOs of Google, Microsoft, Adobe, IBM, Micron Technology, Palo Alto Network, Artista Network, Channel, MasterCard, Pepsi, and others. These are all globally recognized Western brands whose CEOs are of Indian heritage. Yeah, there are millions of Filipino nurses, teachers, doctors, and other professionals in different fields around the world, but there are Indians who do that as well. But what we're talking about is outsourcing and offshoring, right? Okay, check this out. Take the top 10 BPO companies in the world according to runningremote.com. You'll see that only one company has a Filipino in their executive leadership roster, while all 10 of them have Indians occupying multiple executive leadership positions. Can we get a mic drop?
Obama.
Speaking of versatility, C9Staff offers a versatile range of creative professionals for all of your globally distributed remote staffing needs. We have access to 35 high-quality but low-cost international talent markets that can cater to all of your creative talent needs. Plus, the professionals we can deploy for you are guaranteed to speak fluent English, and they work in your local time zone. Our end-to-end managed services means all you need to do is tell us what your staffing requirements are, and we'll take care of the recruitment, screening, and hiring the staff you need. We'll even take care of their payroll, time tracking, and all their human resource and administrative requirements. So, you get to enjoy the services of highly skilled staff working under your own internal company standards, but without the accompanying headache of managing a team comprised of experts from different parts of the world. For more details, you can schedule a free consultation at www.c9staff.com. Links are on the description below. Now let's get back to the video. IT infrastructure. This is another category where India outperforms the Philippines by more than a mile. With an economy that's over 10 times larger than the Philippines, India has, by default, more IT spending capacity. In 2022 alone, India spent a total of $105 billion for their IT infrastructure. Of that amount, $9.5 billion was spent by the Indian government alone. That's how invested they are in their IT infrastructure. In contrast, the Philippines' total IT spending for 2022 did not even reach $10 billion. Combine that with the fact mentioned earlier that India puts a deep emphasis on producing experts in the fields of computer science and IT. And boom. If you're still not convinced, look at the top 10 BPO companies in the world. All 10 of them have offices in India with more than 500 staff, while only 4 have offices in the Philippines with more than 500 staff. Need I say more? Government support. Both the Philippines and Indian governments recognize the fact that their respective BPO industries have become important economic pillars. In the Philippines, government support has been all out from day one, considering that the BPO industry has been contributing to over 10% to the government's income since its inception. In return, the Philippines government has given massive tax incentives to BPO companies. To date, foreign BPO companies in the Philippines enjoy an average of $500 million in tax incentives annually, and it's even higher for BPO companies operating within designated Philippine economic zones. During the pandemic, the Philippine government had a special category for BPO employees. This category allowed them to be among the first to receive the vaccine. This is because the country's economy remained afloat thanks in part to the BPO industry. On the other hand, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Indian government has also been enacting initiatives in favor of their $39 billion BPO industry. India is now allowing BPO companies to take on both domestic and international clients on the same infrastructure. This is expected to raise their service capability by almost 80%. The Indian government has now also started to incentivize companies that allow for remote work. With these moves, the Indian BPO industry is expected to grow by up to 40% within the next 2 years. So, when it comes to government support, 1 point for both India and the Philippines. Culture. Philippines has always been culturally compatible with the US. That's why American businesses tend to outsource to the Philippines. This comes as no surprise since the Philippines was an American colony for almost 50 years. In fact, the Philippines has a very westernized culture. Filipinos actually share more in common culturally with their US counterparts than they do their own Asian neighbors. Canada, New Zealand, and Australia also tend to follow this cultural bias in favor of the Philippines. The UK and broader Europe, however, tends to favor India for their outsourcing. This is because, as the Philippines was once an American colony, India was once a British territory. But if we're strictly taking culture in the context of outsourcing and offshoring, we give this criteria to the Philippines because Filipinos are more culturally receptive and accommodating compared to Indians. Filipinos are more likely to break tradition just to accommodate a client. Indians are deeply traditional people and place more value on their internal culture over business accommodations. And because of this, the Filipinos' cultural flexibility is more advantageous for their BPO clients. Now, that being said, we're going to give culture over to the Philippines. So in conclusion, the Philippines edges out India 5-3. Now, does that mean you'd be better off choosing the Philippines for your outsourcing and offshoring needs? We wish it was really that simple. At the end of the day, it all boils down to what part of your business operations you're outsourcing. If you're outsourcing creative operations such as graphic design, copywriting, content production, and the like, go for the Philippines. On the same line of thinking, if you're outsourcing web development, software development, and other technical development tasks, choose India. If you're outsourcing customer service, sales, and other operations that require soft skills or even client-facing communications, go for the Philippines. But if you're looking for highly technical workers, expert technicians, support agents, skilled IT professionals, then we'd have to choose India. It's all just a matter of knowing what you need and understanding where to get the best help available.